Good morning. Welcome back to the Monmouth Moms Podcast. We are welcoming Chrissy Signore today from Correlation, a local Monmouth County mom. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
We have been connected for like a while now.
Yeah, probably.
I think it was before you had your twins.
Event.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Be Well event. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. So I'm so excited to meet you in person.
Me too.
Tell me, where are you from?
I'm from Tinton Falls.
Okay.
But then we were in the city for a couple years, my husband and I.
Okay.
And then moved to Aberdeen, and now we're in Colts Neck.
Oh, okay. I'm in Aberdeen.
Oh, nice. I was in the F section.
Okay, I'm in the I section.
Yeah.
Now I'm telling everyone in the world where I live.
Yeah.
But we are planning on moving this summer. So desperately trying to like navigate this market that
I don't envy it. Yeah.
Yeah. I say this like literally every year, and then I'm like, we're moving this summer, and then we just don't find anything that we like. Because here's the deal with like where we are in life. We're getting completely off topic, but I don't want to buy another house that is like too much of a fixer-upper. I'm very much an introverted extrovert.
Yeah.
I love being home.
Yeah.
I love like interior design. I love all of it. So like I want like the house that like, I'm envisioning.
Yeah.
And either like if it comes on the market, it's gone, or, it's just crazy.
Yeah. It goes from being like a fun thing to do that you just scroll Zillow to a full-time job that brings on
I go through
stress.
phases where I'm like going through Trulia. I like Trulia better, and like just going and then and then I won't look for like 2 months because I'm like so angry. But yes, like also just the pricing. It's just like a house that, pre-COVID would have been
There's
700
no starters for anybody now too.
It's like 1.2, and I'm like, I don't what?
Yeah, how do you valid? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my housing market story. So you're in Colts Neck. That's where my husband grew up. Love Colts Neck. Do you have like horses around nearby?
No, we have families of deer
Oh,
for sure.
Okay.
In our neighborhood, there's like a family of 4, another family of 8.
Mm-hmm.
But to the housing point, we've only been there for a year and a half, and I mean, bury us there because it was a 3-mile move that took like 16 hours. But like we have a short side,
down
the fence.
34.
Yeah, we're off like
yeah.
Clover Hill over there. The fence fell down, so like now the deer came in, so we're getting a new fence. But in the meantime, it's like every week we have to keep putting it up until
that's us now too because of the wind.
Yeah, it's insane.
The fence is so bad.
We have like the trees. There's so many trees. No horses, but deer and trees for sure.
Yes, it's very spacious. I love Colts Neck for that reason.
Yeah.
The only downside is like that it's like a hike to anywhere.
Yeah, there's no downtown.
No.
So if anyone's listening and wants to make it downtown.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they will though. So you went to school where?
I went to high school in Monmouth Regional.
Mm-hmm.
I went to college at Fairfield University.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why you're going to have.
Yeah. I love Fairfield. My aunt lives in Fairfield, and I'm actually staying there the night before the summit. So
nice.
Yeah, I love Fairfield's great because I have like that beautiful downtown.
Yeah.
That must have been fun.
Talk about downtown. That's the one.
Yes,
Yeah,
that is like like American dream downtown.
Yes.
So you went to so you met your husband in college?
Yep. Yeah. He actually grew up in Middletown, so we went 2.5 hours away to find each other. 15 minutes back here. So
I feel like a lot of kids went to Fairfield.
Yeah, it's a very big tri-state area.
Yeah.
New York, New Jersey, Connecticut.
Yeah. And then what did you major in?
Marketing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so where did that take you out of school?
Into finance. So I had started an internship at Allianz Global Investors during college, kind of kept it on my whole senior year. And then they hired me when I got out, which was great because, it's 2011. So a little bit after stuff. But so that was great. I was commuting from home, but I bringing it to the correlation element, I didn't gain like the freshman 15 or anything. Mm-hmm. But after I graduated college, I gained the 9 to 5, 10, right? From moving from box to box, from my parents' house to my car to get to the bus, the academy bus, to take me to the city, to go sit in a cubicle, to go do it all again. And just like the draining of energy, the sedentary lifestyle took, a huge toll. And you don't really, you're like, this is it. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, this is what life is now. I'm like, no, no, this is not what it's supposed to feel like. I'm like 22 years old. Like I should feel like good, you know?
That is so funny that you said that. And I've actually never even heard that term, like the 9 to 5, 10.
Yeah.
But thinking back, like I got my first like job, like, you know, desk job, so to speak, in my 20s. Also, I was 23 and I was working for Jock's Catering in Middletown, and I was their corporate sales manager.
Right.
Mind you, if they listen to this podcast, sorry, this was like close to 20 years ago. I knew nothing about sales. When they hired me, I was like, they're like, can you cold call? I didn't even, and you couldn't even really Google stuff back then. I was like,
Sure.
I didn't even know what cold calling was. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah. And I was like totally winging it. But anyway, that's a completely different story. However, Jock's they're a 45-year-old caterer that started in Brooklyn and Staten Island, and then they came to New Jersey. And great, you know, most people I think in our area know Jock's. But it's great food. Yeah. And when you work at Jock's,
right. So going back to the 9 to 5, 10.
I was always skinny. Like I was I wasn't like too much into sports. I played field hockey in high school. I didn't run until after I worked at Jock's actually. But I wasn't never a gym person. I was just always like kind of naturally thin, a high metabolism. Yeah. But I would be like going out with my friends like at night, and like I love food, and I would eat like chicken, whatever. And then for lunch we'd be having like chicken parm and whatever. and I swear to God, I was like my heaviest I've ever been. Wow. And that was after like I had my son. Like
I was going to say you're on your feet. Oh,
no. Yeah. Like I was always at a desk, like just calling people and being like, do you want to have your, and it was post actually 2008, which was when the recession hit. Yeah. And the first thing to go with corporate was you know, any type of celebratory anything. So that was tough. It was a big, you know, it was a good learning experience. But yes, I got really fat at Jock's. Thanks a lot. So then I figured out like I should probably start like running. So that's when I started running back then. But anyway, yes, I can, you know, and so many people like go through that where it's just, I don't know. I can't do the standing desk.
Right.
Can you?
I would. Well, the problem was when I was doing it in the city, I was doing it in heels, right? So I'd be wearing like, which now it's crazy after having kids. That I'm like,
you're like, I'm not ever wearing heels.
I'd wear heels like for 10 hours a day. It'd be fine. Now I'm like, wow, this is something.
No, thank you.
But when I had the standing desk, I did have a standing desk, which I would be very up and down, up and down. I'd find myself leaning, or I'd find myself with like different weight placement on my hips. So it was hurting me in a different way.
Okay.
You know, but that's just me. I shouldn't have been wearing my shoes with it, I guess.
That and the exercise ball. I know some people do that too.
I did that over the last couple of months of pregnancy, which was helpful.
It is.
But
it's good for your core.
Their pelvis around and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I gotta maybe consider that. So tell me, so you're working as an intern for a financial company.
Yeah, and then got hired. Mm-hmm. Stayed there for a couple years. Went to Goldman Sachs for a couple years. Then went to a consulting firm for a marketing consulting firm for financial companies. And then I got let go there because he didn't have money. The position was actually in sales. Oh. So I went from doing like the in-house to he saw what I brought to the table there, wanted to bring me out. So that didn't work. Then I got married. So he's like, go have fun at your wedding. I was like, I need to pay for my wedding, but okay. So that it ended up being a blessing in that. I went back consulting with Allianz for a couple years. In the meantime, started getting very interested in fitness because I was doing more consulting and that. So I had a little bit more free time, more starting to pave what I wanted it to be. Like I knew I didn't want to be commuting to the city forever. I knew I wanted to have kids. Well, I wasn't commuting at that point anymore. We had moved into the city, lived there, but we weren't going to be there forever. Right? I knew we were coming back to Monmouth County. Like we weren't going anywhere else either because of the 52 weeks a year, we were probably home or at some sort of family or friend event, 46 of them. Like we really weren't there as much.
It's like my sister. She doesn't live in the city, but she lives in like upstate New York. And she's like always mad that I'm like, well then don't move up there because you are always here. Yeah.
So came back, bought a house in Aberdeen. And I had started consulting then for a digital a digital company who kind of is around data and how you're bringing all of your assets together, what kind of analytics you're coming from that. And that was even more flexibility because it was the next step down where I wanted to be, where it was working from home.
Mm-hmm.
And I started work for them on March 10th, 2020. And then the world shut down the next week. So I thought I was going to be home by myself. And because my husband was also commuting to the city, and no, everyone was working from home. So, right before that, in the beginning of January, knowing I was going to start moving into this space, I got certified as a personal trainer to move into the corporate wellness space for the same reasons as I said before, right? Like I saw what had happened to me. Not only what just happened to me, but not everyone, but people around me in the sedentary lifestyle around like your back hurting, the bad posture, the hips, the knees. And it wasn't because they were running or they did something, like it's from sitting all day. So I really wanted to come and bring programs to companies around like how you could be bringing your people together, and then just what you should be doing, like just different ways to engage, to have fitness challenges, to do all that sort of stuff. So got certified as a personal trainer to go into corporate wellness. And then there was no corporations to go to because it was March of 2020.
Okay. It's coming back though.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, then I pivoted and I created an app with at this point, I still have it going on. I still have clients that are on there. But that was with circuit training, interval training, 3 different levels on there. It also has habit training on there. So all these different workouts. At this point, there's over 600 different workouts that I've created and are programmed in there.
Wow.
And that's still
help
there
you, like going during your work day.
No, it started out as just workouts.
Okay.
All right. So like 25 to 30 minutes. 1%, literally, that's 1% of your day, right? And at that point, during COVID, people could do more than 1% of your day because it's all you had a lot of time,
right?
So it started out as that, and then and people were seeing good results from it, and there was the engagement, right? It's the beginning of this kind of thing where everyone was doing these apps online and fitness challenges and stuff. And then as time went on, and people did start moving out into life again, I realized like the results that people were or weren't seeing, as you didn't have as much time to focus on it because life started again. It wasn't about like, hey, here's what you got to do, right? Like, here's the workout. Anyone can give you the workout, but it was really what was going on up here for people and the behavior change. Like, what is stopping you? Like, what is your why? Like, why are you doing this workout to begin with? What are you trying to achieve? And what is stopping you from getting there? And everything was in between your ears of what was stopping them. So I'm still working full time at this point. Had my first son. So that was in June of 21. And started to get more into the behavior change elements of this, and got certified as a behavioral change specialist so that I could really focus on that for people too, and going more into coaching one-on-one than just like, here's an app, we interact just over texting. Then I did want to actually be training people. So I had reached out to someone who was opening up at 45. She owns the one in Wall, Mercer Hart, and then she was opening the one in Bellworks. And I was like, it's supposed to be opening forever because it was COVID. It was just not opening. So I started to coach for her there. That was also in January of 21. But I really wanted to be more involved than just coaching. Like, I saw the community element that there was. I saw how much that could be done with it. I loved, if everything that I was doing for Correlation was online, this was giving me the real life part of it. So my husband and I in January of 22 bought into the business for that. So co-owner there and operator. So that kind of expanded the area of what Correlation would have, the physical element, while now I'd also be focusing on the mental for other people. So with the behavioral change, everything was centered around and is centered around those small sustainable changes. So those habits, like what are those atomic habits, one of my favorite books. Yeah. Start with why, right? With Simon Sinek is number 1. And then number 2 is atomic habits. Those 2 things, I think will resonate across your entire life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know the first one actually.
Start with Why.
Uh-huh.
Simon Sinek. Do you know him?
No.
Listen to his podcast too. It's a little bit of optimism.
Uh-huh.
So he finds all these really interesting people. And just when there's so much going on in the world, like it's just the positivity of it around different things.
Oh, I like that.
But
that's probably good for me.
I was listening to him this morning, and he actually was talking about the gift of gab, as you were talking about your husband with gift of gab.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, yeah. I love a inspirational read. I'm very much into like women who have led or are successful and stuff like that. But I think I have comic habits right over here. I think. But yes, that's like I have 700 books on my nightstand, and they're all like kind of in that world, that realm.
Yeah, I joke about like I want to get into just like reading a novel. I'm like, all I have is these things to learn.
Yes, agreed. I will do like a beach read once a year, like on the beach.
On the beach,
where it's just like kind of garbage.
Yeah,
but you're just like you need to like not be like in that mode at all times. So, So you've integrated these practices into your business plan.
Yeah. And so from there, I kind of, where are we? We're in January 22. Mm-hmm. So kind of both things are living together. My full-time job, part-time, I went to 3 days, so I could be with my son too, and then helping to grow Correlation as well. Mm-hmm. All dates time, it's crazy. I'm like, what year is it?
I know, it went fast, right?
Yeah. So then we moved in September of 20. What year is it? 23. September of 23. And because we weren't going to fit in our house, like we wanted to have another kid, and we weren't going to fit in our house. It was a 3-bedroom, no basement. I worked from home. Mm-hmm. Like we needed the office space, so we'd either need to add on or move. So moved and wouldn't think about kids until then. So then my husband was like, just wait a minute. Like you have things are happening with Correlation. Like let it happen. I'm like, okay, but I don't want to have a baby in the winter. So like, this is our timeline of this. We have this amount of time. And, luckily, unluckily, it was, just when we started trying, pregnant with 2. So we knew we were pregnant.
Do you have twins in your family?
No, nowhere. Neither side.
Huh.
Not IVF, no twins in our family. Like apparently as you get older, I don't think I'm that old, but as you get older, more eggs drop. Oh. So you're more likely to have twins as you get older. This is what I'm hearing. And also you're more likely to have twins after you have twins. So like for those of us who we have twin boys. Am I sad we don't have a girl? Yes, I'm sad, but I'm not sad enough to try for the 4th and end up with twins again. My cousin's best friend
so funny.
had a girl, and then like the husband wanted a boy, so they tried again. They got pregnant again, twins, girls. Mm-hmm. He was like, I really want to have a boy. Tried again, pregnant again. Twin girls. So they went from 1 girl to 5 girls, and all he wanted was 1 boy. So
yeah. My dad also, my parents are divorced, and it was me and my sister, and then he got remarried and then had 4 girls. So he has 6 girls. So my youngest sister is 22 and I'm 40.
Wow.
And it's funny because like I'm close with like 2 of them who are about 10 years younger than me. I'm closer with them than I am with my sister who's like 2.5 years younger than me. But like most of them, like they're just so young, you know. But my dad, like, he just has he actually, my son, when he was born, like he calls him the boy. Like he doesn't even call him his name. He calls him the boy.
And you must spoil him.
Yeah. So it's funny. So you have, so you already had your son.
Yeah. So he was June 21.
Okay. Got it.
And then we found out that we were pregnant at the beginning of December of 23.
Okay.
Told our families we were pregnant, but hadn't had the ultrasound yet until the day after Christmas. So that was our surprise. And with my son being born during COVID, my husband wasn't allowed to come to any of the ultrasounds. Mm-hmm. So he'd never been to one before. And so him and my son were both in the doctor's office, and the doctor was quiet for a while. So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, is there no heartbeat? Do you not see it? And I'm not saying anything. And my son goes, Mama, where's the blueberry? Because we had told him we were going to the doctor because Mom had a blueberry in her belly. It was the size of that. And the doctor goes, well, there might be 2 blueberries, a little fruit salad. And we're like, wait a minute. Like, first of all, is it a fruit salad or 2? Like, and is that what we think it means? And so,
were you freaking out?
Oh, yeah.
I would have been freaking out.
Yeah, freaking out. And she's like, take it with a grain of salt because it's very early, but it's the most likely to happen because it's, die. They're separate sacks, separate placenta, everything. So we're like, oh, wow, we thought we moved into a bigger house and it's not as big as we thought anymore. Like, and then to find out that it was 2 boys, we're like, we're not getting anything nice for a very long time.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Yeah. I am not a person that, like, I always say, like, my kids are 10 years apart and, like, it was good for me because I'm not a person that, like, I know would have been, like, good with, like, 3 under 3 or whatever. Yeah. And when I had my daughter, I was still, like, so nervous because I was working and, like, I sold wine at the time. And I felt awkward even being pregnant, like, going into liquor because I used to go into like liquor stores, like, to sell wine. It was just, I don't know. But it's probably changed. Back then it was like, it was a very male dominated industry. But I just remember being like I was just nervous just to have her kind of. Right. So too, which I would have been like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So
everything is different from every element. I mean, the pregnancy for our first son, I gained like 23 pounds. I gained like nothing.
Yeah.
And it was COVID again. So like I got to do so much at home. And it was just him. And my husband was also working from home. So I was just able to focus more on like making sure I got back. And with it being the first and being little, it was easier, Yep. So now round 2 with 2 more, a little bit different, and the toddler running around. So I think the recovery just mentally and physically has been just a world of difference. And I think like I have always been my whole life just very type A. And I think having them, you gotta kind of flip the switch. So it's like we had them in July, and I gave myself till kind of the end of the year, December, to just like be right. Yeah. I always have expectations on myself and goals and all this stuff, and I was like, just get through this year. That's it, and which is hard, because you have time hopping on your phone and you just continually see, with them only being a month apart, difference in when I had them, continually seeing myself compared to this pregnancy was like, oh God, I was already that. Oh, I only was that,
Yeah.
So just a world.
Are you the oldest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So on both sides, we are extremely blessed. Both my parents are in Tinton Falls. My husband's parents are in Middletown. So they're both 15 minutes away from us. And they both have 2 days where they help watch the kids. And we are the only kids on both sides that have grandkids. So we're like savoring this spot as long as we can until our sisters and brothers have kids that they, we have to share the grandparents.
Oh, that's nice though.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
I find it maybe, I don't know if you've ever reflected in this way, but I think it's such a testament to being able to do whatever you want to do and whatever you set your mind to, because your background was not in fitness. Right. And like, were you interested in fitness growing up?
I played tennis in high school. That was about it.
Okay.
My dad is like very into fitness his whole life, still is. I mean, is in great shape at 68 years old. So
okay.
You would think he was like 58. So that's always been like, okay, I can see what can happen longer term, but it was never, it was a total flip of apples and oranges between what the careers were. So
right. And then you set your mind to it and like really just kind of kept pushing forward and created something that is, is so successful in Monmouth County. So, and it's also too, I wanted to mention, like, how would you even, like, for me, I'm like, how would you even know how to start an app? Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I think, 5 years ago, there's 10 years ago compared to 5 years ago compared to this year, like there weren't as many as there are now.
Okay.
There are definitely, and I think like I was maybe picking between 3 at the time that could do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't even know how many you'd be picking in between.
I know there's like people that do it for you, and then there's like different, like there's Circle where it's like more of a community thing, but then it's like the information is not proprietary. Like there's so many, I don't know. I know like a little bit about it, but I know that it's like a huge world of like,
And now
options.
It's more just like the integrations of everything else they can all do for, like, make sure you're picking the right ones, because then they can integrate to how can I get AI to help with this, and it actually connect to your calendar, to connect to MyFitnessPal, to connect to your Apple Watch and all of that stuff. So.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So tell me, so we're in 2023, so you have the twins.
I have twins July 24.
Oh, okay. Okay. What's it been like since then?
Well, actually, let's rewind to February of 24.
Okay.
Which was a little before, I guess, I got in touch with you, where I had this idea. Backtrack a little more. November 23. We're part owners in the F45 in Bellworks.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so that's what we became part owners in January of 22. But we love that building. That Bellworks building is just like you walk in and you're inspired, right? Like, and now the boys being there, like they walk in and they're still like this, you know, whether the twins are looking up at the ceiling and the way the skylights are. You know, my older son just loves going. Sorry, Bellworks. Like I have the pass. He likes to go up and down the elevator and like see all of that and the fountains and all of that, and the turf and just to play. And like there's just this synergy that's not optimized there with all of the tenants, because there's 4 gyms. There's 2 different hair salons. There's a florist. There's a chiropractor and physical therapist, med spa, work from home space, like all of these different things that naturally are about wellness, and we're not working together on that. Like how can we all be helping each other when this is really like a little day to yourself of what you can do to. You walk in, you feel better, and then you walk out, you feel even better because of whatever the reason was that you went there.
I didn't know there was 2 hair salons.
Well, the barbershop. So there's the barbershop and then
salon concrete. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I saw that, and being, you know, and connected to the building from F45, was like, can I make this happen? Like, can I put some sort of little expo together? And there's one that had happened in New York just one time at that point, and it's grown astronomically, called Strong New York, that I had gone to, and it was like incredible. They had the fitness classes throughout the day. They have workshops where people are talking about things. They had speakers, and they have unbelievable vendors that give you such great products of things that I still buy now because of that I found there. And I was like, I want to do this. Like we don't have this because he marketed it. Kenny Santucci was marketing it as like the first and only wellness. We have wine expos. We have food expos. We don't have a fitness expo in New York. I'm like, if New York doesn't have one, there's no way that Monmouth County has one. So from November, tried to put it together until February amongst the holidays of trying to get everyone together. But, you know, we had over 50 vendors that were there. We had 6 different fitness classes, 9 different speakers, and then all these little workshop things for people to do. So it was really cool. It's called Be Well. We'll probably do it again. I haven't planned it yet, but that happened in February. So I was secretly pregnant until a couple weeks after that. And that was just nice. But in the meantime then, so people have asked about that, haven't done anything with it. And now we've come to July, have the twins, try to figure out like, being a business owner, I mean, you know, like you don't get time off. Like you're not getting maternity leave. Like what's your time where you're sitting down and, but I do have my parents, but I do still need to make sure that F45 is happening. And I do still want to make sure that this doesn't die, because this is a key part, right? Like having these kids. And that was probably the bad pressure that I would put on myself, was like, I'm supposed to be doing something. Like, this is what I want. I want to help moms now. But I just can't do it right now, you know? Yeah,
but also, like, you're taking that time that, like, I always say I'm very type A also.
Yeah.
And I hate taking downtime because I feel lazy. Yeah. But, like, I did over the holidays. I think I talked about this on one of the podcasts. And, like, for, like, I don't know, probably a week, felt like a month. But I think maybe it was, like, a week and a half where, like, I really didn't work, like, over the holidays at all.
Yeah.
And I felt like, oh, but you just need it.
Yeah.
And also, so when I got back to work, I was like, oh, like there were so many things that I thought through.
Yeah.
And
right.
so many things that like you need that like that planting
Yep.
phase where
Yeah.
you're like, okay, gathering thoughts, experiencing things, right?
Mhm,
You can
mhm.
become a mom, especially a mom of twins,
Mhm.
which has led you to now what, you know,
Yeah.
which tell us more about.
yeah. So I think so from that there was, again, the first pregnancy was more about just getting back, and now this one is more about the grace of it.
Mhm.
And again, the mental elements of it. So what are the self-care elements? What are the different mindfulness? What can I do within 5 minutes? What can to both help me physically, mentally, emotionally along the recovery? And just the management of time. For those of you who have twin mom or who have twins, the hardest part, guiltily, is not being able to hold them both.
Mhm.
They don't, you can cry about it. Compared to the first one, you get to hold them all the time.
Yeah.
And now it's like you have to share that holding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Yeah. And so you find yourself doing more management than like the caring of them.
Okay.
So it's, while everyone says get them on the same schedule, it's really nice every now and then to not have them on the same schedule,
Uh-huh.
to just have time with each of them.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So
Okay.
anyways.
Yeah.
So from all this, I've become very, very interested in the prenatal postpartum help and recovery and support in it, because from the doctor's standpoint, horrible. I didn't like it the first time, the doctors that we had, but they did a great job.
Mhm.
But like that doctor told me, I had already been doing fitness and studying stuff about women, not to the extent that I have now, but I asked, what do I need to know? What do you need to tell me about what I should and shouldn't be doing? Don't get your heart rate over 110. I'm like, 110? That's a brisk walk. Like, that is wrong. It's flat out wrong. I didn't say anything, obviously, to him then, but I'm like, this is just the misinformation.
Is this when you were pregnant with the twins?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Then, yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
I was just thinking maybe because with twins,
right,
like,
there's high risk
or whatever, and they have to protect themselves from like not advising you to go into whatever.
Yeah.
But okay.
So that was the advice that I got the first time that like really ticked me off.
Yeah.
The second time around, the practice was not even on the same page about the delivery and what they can and they can't do.
Mhm.
Right. So one doctor said they would deliver naturally if baby A was down, baby B was up, breached. The other one said no. So like they're not even on the same page about what they were doing. So I didn't feel comfortable there. After that, when you go back for the checkup, and it's just like, this is, it annoyed me in the first pregnancy. Come back 6 weeks, tell me that you're okay to have sex, you're okay to lift, everything's okay, because it's been 6 weeks,
Mhm.
right? And at that point, I was annoyed because I felt good. I'm like, I have to wait just 6 weeks, like, based on what? You're not checking anything on me. Second time around, barely even got me scheduled for the appointment, and it was 8 weeks later, with it being a C-section, and same thing. You're good to lift, you're good to have sex, you're good to move on. I'm like, based on what? Because like I didn't feel good for that. Like, and he's like, time. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Like, how about diastasis recti? Anything I should be doing about that? Oh, do you have it? I'm like, no, I want you to talk to me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you see any coning, I'm like, this is the time you show me, you know?
Right.
No, none of it. So this is why like I got so invested into the postpartum world of like the doctors, they just send you out. Like it's the physical check marks of you are okay physically, but what else is going on? They're between that 6 and 8 week time frame. Like if you're a new mom and you have something going on, you don't even know if it's right or not. Like, I should be feeling this, right? Like, I should be feeling sad. I should be feeling pain because I just had a baby. I should be feeling, and you don't even know. Like, you don't know until it's that 6 week checkup, and you're kind of left to. It's definitely gotten better, and we've gotten better as women, like opening up and things on social media showing how to recover or what is common, not normal, but common things that happen for women. But there's just so much more that needs to be opened up about that.
Yeah.
I mean, like from the physical element of diastasis recti, I was always so scared of it. Like you see these and women's stomachs are so far apart and it's just saggier. And it's like, okay, here's the truth. Like by your third trimester, by the time you have that baby, 100% of us have diastasis recti because your abs literally need to separate in order to make space for the baby.
Yeah.
Does that mean that it takes long for everybody to go back or short for everyone to go back? You could have it for years and not even know about it. Yeah. So like getting that check to see if you have it, and you should always be focusing on your breathing. There's so many exercises, no matter how old or how far after your pregnancy, to still be bringing your core back, because it's not just about that physical appearance, but like how your pelvic floor and how your core is working for you all together. From urinary incontinence to lower back pain to organ prolapse. Like there's these things that are very real that if you're not taking care of your pelvic floor, which doesn't get brought up in the doctor's office.
No, I didn't learn about the pelvic floor until I started this podcast.
Isn't that, and your kids are how old?
My daughter's 10 and I started it. It's been maybe 2.5 years. And I had a few moms, I'm not going to lie. Like I had a few moms on that, like it's like some of them, like that was their business or whatever. And I'm like, all right.
Tell me. Right.
Well, what the heck is a pelvic floor? Yeah. Like, I had no idea. Right. Really. It never came up.
All you get told is do your Kegels. Right? Like, that's all
My doctor didn't say that. Sorry, Dr. Patel.
And I don't... I wasn't even my doctor. It was my mom. Right? Like, that's all, like, that their generation even were told, like, okay, well, make sure you're doing Kegels. Stop peeing while you're peeing. And then you know if you're good or not. I'm like, there's so much more to it. And I think like it comes back to the power of breath and just like making sure you understand how to really be doing diaphragmatic breathing, and getting strong from the inside out. And strong from the inside out is true from both just the physical elements, but also mental and emotional, and understanding like, okay, be present. And be present spans all of that too, physical, emotional, mental. Like what is actually happening right now? Like where am I? How do I feel? What is happening around me? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Like coming back to the center of why. Sometimes it's very simple. Like, yeah, you're changing a diaper. There's poop. Like, change the diaper. Yeah. But otherwise, it's like, why am I still laying in bed and I should be getting out of bed and I can't? Yeah. And why am I not doing the thing that, like, I know what I need to do. I know why I need to do it, but why can't I get it done? Yeah. Why can't I make that first step? And part of it is just that fear of starting, right? It's that taking that first step that's so hard, and inertia, right? If you're a body at rest will stay at rest, a body in motion will stay in motion. So it's like, do that first thing, take that first step. And coming back to like what correlation kind of starts at is those habits. How can you break that astronomical goal down from, if it's years, down to a year, down to a quarter, down to a month, to a week, to the smallest denominator of what can I do that will take less than 2 minutes that's propelling me a little bit closer to what I'm trying to get done. And it's like there's things about like go to the gym and just swipe in. First time, just swipe in. Next time, only go do 5 minutes on the treadmill. And it sounds silly, but it's like, well, now I'm here. Yeah. I might as well keep going, right? Like, and so that inertia of keeping going through all of that, is key as well. So I found myself over the last few months having to take my own prescriptions of stuff, not prescriptions, but like of what I want other women to do. Like, oh, I actually need to do that too, in how to recover physically, emotionally, mentally, and becoming aware of like, what is actually happening? How do I cope with these things? How do I deal with these inevitable stresses? How can I help other women do that as well? When, 1 in 5 women have some sort of mental health after, whether it's postpartum depression or anxiety or whatever it might be, after having a baby, and like, you're told, isn't this amazing? Isn't this the best time of your life? And it's like, this baby just tore me apart, is crying and screaming, is not even giving me eye contact, let alone smiling. And like, maybe I don't feel that. Yeah. And I feel wrong for not feeling that, and it's part of, the stigma and the culture that we've just grown up, the society that we've grown up in, but starting to shift a little. So it's just, for moms to know that you're not alone in what you're going through. Yeah. And you might be going through things that you just think are normal, and it's not normal. It may be common, but that doesn't mean that it's normal and that it should be okay, that you just deal with it. I spoke with someone who was like, still has incontinence 3.5 years later, and just like hides it.
I know. Yeah, I know, because you're always last, and like you're always kind of putting, it just kind of seems like you don't even know who you go to that, right? Or go for that. And, treating it, and like essentially that you just kind of hope that it goes away.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh. So tell me what Correlation is today, and like different services that you offer, and what how you can help moms this year.
Yeah. So I think that there's 3 different pillars that Correlation focuses on. One, as I started off with, was the corporate wellness and creating programs for companies. 2 is just overall habits creations, whether you're trying to break or make a habit. And then 3, really, or the majority of my focus is now, is the prenatal and postpartum care. So that spans from one-on-one coaching. If moms do just want to be doing it through a fitness app, I do have that as well. I do have an 8-phase course to kind of understand the 5th trimester. Not the 5th. I'm working on the 5th. The 4th trimester. So those next 12 weeks after you have a baby, which may be longer than 12 weeks. Like, it doesn't need to be those 12 weeks, but just caring for yourself from your nutrition, physically, mentally, sleep, support those around you. So 8 sections for that. And then now I have 2 different sections in Parks and Rec. So those are going to be in the end of March. If this is still, can still see that then. That's around pelvic floor restoration.
Oh.
There's an 1.5-hour workshop for that. And then there's also a 4-part series that's kind of touches, it's a minier version of the course, where it goes over your nutrition, physical, mental, and then we do a little bit of exercises there as well. And then in April 16th, we'll be having kind of like a lunch, learn, and love about being empowered and balanced for busy women, busy moms, about creating micro habits and mindfulness for self-care, and then just planning, having that plan in place before the thing happens, before any sort of chaos may happen.
Yeah, no, we talked about this earlier about like the importance of having kind of resources and a plan in place for things that, may come up. And the more awareness that we, build around, things that happen postpartum, right? The more I think that moms will just kind of be in tune with what they may need, versus like kind of waiting until, and that would so be me. I'd be like, I'm very type A with like certain things. Other things, I'm flying by the seat of my pants. And like that is one of them where I'd be like it's fine. Like, I'll just figure that out. But when you're in that state of mind, you can't. So like knowing, what's out there is super important. And I think having like a
support system and advocate, whether it's your partner or a family member or friend, like, hey, so like, this is what and just kind of like, as we were saying about just goals before, like putting it out into the universe, like saying it out loud, knowing that, all right, now I've put it out, I need to make sure it happens. So whether it's you're making sure that you're doing any sorts of meal planning, or like what's the care for both your kids, but also you, and how are you having a date with yourself every week, whether it's like putting it in your calendar, the same as, I used to say about workouts, like how are you having that care for yourself once a week, putting in your calendar, like you're having a meeting with your boss that you wouldn't just cancel, right? Without being like, ooh, am I going to cancel that? And is that just tea, upstairs in the quiet room, or like going out for a walk, or going and getting your nails done, going and having a fitness class, going to a fitness class or something like that.
Yeah. And also, I think too with moms, like we're like, oh, we don't need to, or oh, I'm not going to go. But honest to God, like, and it's so true even as a mom, like, when you don't have littles, like going, like half the battle is getting there.
Yes. Yeah. For everything. I mean, for
for
absolutely.
all things in life, I think, that you want to, like, any goal that you have, right? Like half the battle is actually getting there. And then you're like so glad that you went.
Every time.
Right?
You're like, oh man, I'm not going to do, I want to cancel this.
All right. I don't need to go. Like I went to, a good friend of mine who is, hosts events and stuff. And I it's not that I didn't want to go on this past Friday, but like I have,
other things going on.
I have a lot going on always. And that's just, I got to get more comfortable in that being me, basically.
Yeah.
But like, I'm always like, no, I can't do this because then it'll take me away from X. Mm-hmm. However, when I did go, it was
rejuvenated.
So great. Yeah. And like, so much comes from it and whatever. Same thing. My daughter over the weekend, she made commitments to certain things, extracurricular activities. Mm-hmm. And normally they're during the week, but like this weekend, it was like a lot of weekend heavy things. And one, she was like trying to get out of to go on Sunday. And I was like, no, you made the commitment. We're going, whatever. Mm-hmm. Didn't want to go, like, we're on the way there all pissy. And then she had a great time, and was like, she said to me, like, thank you for making me go. Cause like, I actually really enjoyed it. So that's so true because even if it's like, it sounds silly. I hate going to the nail salon, by the way, but like I hate sitting there and just like, oh,
can't do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've talked about this. I went through like a break, but then I'll talk about it on another podcast. Maybe if I got one of those Russian manicures a couple weeks ago in Freehold.
Good.
Like,
yeah.
Life-changing.
Okay.
It's a hike it's probably closer to you than it is to me. And like definitely on the pricier side. I'm not even going to give the name of the salon because it's really hard to get an appointment. Just look up Russian manicures in Monmouth County because I want to be able to fit in. I'm gatekeeping it. I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. It's Laria Salon or something. I don't know. But like they literally like the whole thing is more about an actual manicure. So like they spend almost an hour like manicuring your cuticles.
Wow. All right.
And like they're grown in a little bit. But when I left the salon, it was like almost 2 weeks ago.
Wow,
this is a gel manicure.
Wow.
Gel, which normally I think, I don't know. So like the nail bed, I was like, my nails have never looked this nice probably since like maybe at birth they did. But like it was incredible. So again, so glad I went. And I think too, like you have to carve out that time.
And feeling guilt-free from it.
Yes.
Right? That's the number one thing about coming around, and having that support system and people who also see that and know that it's important will help too. Like my husband is great at it. Like, go. He's like, get it. You need it. Like, go do this for you. And you feel bad. Like, but this, but that. It's like, it will still be there when you get back, and you will pour from a fuller cup.
Totally.
It's for, and if you need help with thinking guilt, less guilt, like you will be better for them by being better for you.
And also like too, not, I'm very much a control freak, and I'm very much like I do better, I know better type of mentality where like I've really shifted, especially this year, to like outsourcing things, to like, relying on like, people that like want to work with me. Right. And also like, in home life too, just like kind of, yes, like accepting help because like,
don't be a hero.
Don't exactly like, you're better when like you do. And like things, they say true leadership is really in just like building a team and relying on people to do sometimes things better than you. And it's so true like that, like you do need that support system, and it will like help you feel better. And ultimately like help you thrive, which I think is like the biggest message for moms, is that like it really does take a village. And so that village might not necessarily be the village that you need of people helping you with like helping your kids, but more helping you. Right. So,
and part of it too is just always knowing, this is a recent just thing that I've been in, is like there's a stage and a phase for everything. Right. Like we were just talking about it over Valentine's Day, me and my husband, like there was a time for us to fly, right? Like, and fly figuratively and metaphorically, like to just fly by the seat of our pants and like do what we wanted. And there's the time to plant and nurture. And I might not look as great as, and be able to spend as much time on me, or we may not be able to go out as much with each other then, but that time will come again.
Yeah. And it gets old too.
Yeah.
Like having to like, I don't know. I went out to eat so much, and now like I'd much prefer, I love a dinner. Like going out, but I also love like just making a nice meal at home and like being with the kids and stuff like that. I love so much. And like, sometimes it's nicer to just like, and cheaper obviously, but, so You can only go out so much. And you're right. Like eventually you do have that time back. Believe me, I know, because my son is turning 21 and it's just
Wow.
like, it did go very fast. You just like blink, and I hate to be like that mom that says that, but it's very true. So tell me, so you have the event on the 16th at
Mabel
at Bellworks.
Yeah.
And then moms can find you on your website, or how do they?
They can go to Correlation.Life or Correlation.Fit.
Okay.
And then on Instagram, Correlation.Life. And yeah, that's probably the main ways you can find me. I'm usually in Bellworks.
Okay. And set up like a time. Is it a consultation?
Yeah.
Okay.
I always do free consultation in the beginning, and then because there's, you don't want to reinvent the wheel. Some people you don't need to, and it already exists, and I can help with that. But also, I don't want to just kind of prescribe something. I'd rather make sure that Correlation's mantra is meeting you where you are to help get you where you want to be with small sustainable habits.
Okay.
Right. So what are those little things to make sure I'm really focusing on what the real goal is, and what are the things that are triggering you? What are the obstacles that are in your way, and how can we help remove those? Whether that's a physical thing, right, where you're trying to feel stronger or lose some sort of weight, or more mentally around and emotionally around like being in control and refining yourself, and things that you maybe don't even want to talk or feel comfortable talking with your parents, your friends, your spouse about, just like an outside party that I can help you with from both a behavioral change perspective or a postpartum specialist perspective, and a personal trainer and all those different things. So
that's so cool. I love that. It's like you're like a concierge almost. So
yeah.
Of
and if not, I'll help find someone for you.
Yeah, right. I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. This was so much fun. You're an inspiration. I love what you're doing. I can't wait to see you grow. Everyone, go. Is it your Instagram handle is
Correlation?
We'll put it in the text too, so you can give her a follow and book an appointment, because you're doing great things. So thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, Kate.